Distinguished colleagues, we have with us the Major General Shuaibu, Chief of Army Staff. We have Rear Admiral I. Abbas, nominee for Chief of Naval Staff. We have with us Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke, nominee for Chief of Air Staff. Now, each of them will take the podium. I will only ask one person or so per zone to ask them question in the open. Then we will go into closed session because security is a serious business. And then everybody will have the right to ask any question. Because some of the answers they will give are not necessarily answers for television. So we can discuss and come out and also guide based on inputs from our constituents. But in the open, you can ask just a question that is not too deep, so they don't have to mention names of bandits here. But when they are together with us in the closed session, you can go ahead with the various questions that will enable them to speak freely. But in the meantime, may I invite the nominee for the office of Chief of Army Staff, Major General W. Shuaibu, to please take the podium. General Shuaibu, even from your dress, you look very well decorated. But you just give us a brief resume of yourself so Nigerians will know you, and then you answer maybe one question or two. Then you sit down for a close interaction later. The floor is yours.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate and Chairman of the National Assembly, distinguished Senator Cosme Obot, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Badaro, Brian Gabriel, Commander of the Federal Republic, Principal Staff Officers of the Senate, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Special Advisor to the President on Senate Matters, Senator Bashir Lado, the Honorable Minister of Defense, Honorable Badaro Abubakar. I say good morning to all our members of the chamber. I am Major General Y. Shuaibu, was born on 18 December 1971 and hails from Olababora local government area of Kogi State. I gained admission after completing my secondary school to the Nigerian Defense Academy as a member of 41 regular course and was granted a regular combatant commission on 17 September 1994. I was posted to the Nigerian Army Armored Corps Throughout my military career, I've attended several professional courses and academic courses, both home and abroad. Some of these include the Battalion Commander's Course in the Armor, by the last and most significant is the Counter-Terrorism Fellowship Program at the National Defense University in Washington, D.C. I hold a Bachelor of Engineering degree in Mechanical Engineering, a Master's degree in Public Administration, a Master's degree in Strategic Studies, and a Master of Arts in Strategic Studies from Washington. I also hold a Diploma in International Security and Combating Terrorism from the National Defense University in Washington, D.C. I also participated in various seminars and conferences throughout my career, bordering on hybrid forces, counterterrorism, and gray zone operations. I have been promoted to my ranks as and when due, being promoted to the rank of Major General on 10 December 2021. I have held various appointments, cutting across my commissions, both staff, instructions, and command appointments. I was the Chief of Staff to the Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia. I was Chief Instructor of the Nigerian Army Armored School in Bauchi. Thereafter, for my command appointments, I was the commanding officer of 245 Battalion in Monguno in the Northeast, Brigade Commander, 21 Special Armored Brigade in Bama in the Northeast. Thereafter, General Officer Commanding 7th Division and Commander Sector 1 Operation Hard Empire in the Northeast, before becoming the Theater Commander, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hard Empire, equally in the Northeast. Currently, I'm holding the appointment of the Director of Armor Research before being appointed as the current Chief of Army Staff. Throughout my career, I've made it duty to train as Chief Instructor in the Nigerian Army Armor School, to train and mentor junior officers in the art of armor doctrine, as well as when I was the directing staff at the National Defense College of Abuja. I was part of the team that introduced to the Nigerian Defense College, the concept of strategic estimates, which culminated in the publishing of the college medium, strategic thinking and planning. I've also mentored participants, both international students as well as home students throughout. For my staff appointment, I was privileged to have trained officers in the Armed Forces Simulation Center, and also was instrumental in contributing my own quota to critical bilateral agreements of memorandum of understanding between Nigeria and the Kingdom of Jordan, as well as various ECOWAS initiatives. I was part of the fact-finding mission to Guinea-Bissau, as well as the commander of forces in that general area. From my operational experience, all my command experience have been in the Northeast, Nigeria encountering terrorism, indeed. From my early days as a young officer, I've been involved in operations that cut across the length and breadth of this country. As a young platoon commander, in 242 Battalion. I was deployed in the defense operations in Mfum border in Operation Hammer Victory. During our operations, of led troops to counter the incursions from the Republic of Cameroon. I was also the commanding officer of 242 Battalion in Monguno in the northeast, where we defeated the BOKO HARAM insurgents in 2015 when insurgents were trying to renew their offensives. In that operations, I was wounded in battle, and I was granted the BOKO HARAM medal for officers that are wounded in battle. As brigade commander in 21 Special Armor Brigade, I was instrumental in restoring safety to that general area that culminated in the neutralization of 442 insurgents and the recovery of various assorted arms and ammunition. As General Officer Commanding, we introduced the various pillars for the defense of that general area in my sector area of responsibilities, with significant humanitarian aids, including the rescue of 11 Chibok girls that have been in captivity. None of terrorists surrendered during my tenure as General Officer Commanding 7th Division. As Theater Commander, we were instrumental in the neutralization of 567 Boko Haram terrorists and the recovery of assorted arms and ammunition. To improve the integrity of our defenses in general areas, leverage technology to improve various long-range surveillance cameras to give our troops full knowledge of enemy infiltrations. We also introduced capitation operations that led to the neutralization of key terrorist links. I have the privilege to have various honors and awards ranging from the Meritorious Service Star, Grand Service Star, the accommodated the Field Command Medal, Field Command Medal of Honor, and the Nigerian Army Outstanding Operation Medals for the Nigerian Army, and the Defense Operations Medals. So, for the past 5 years, I have been deeply involved in military operations to rid our country of various terrorists that have been disturbing in the Northeast. I believe that with my wealth of experience that I bring to the table, I will consolidate on my predecessors' achievements to create a very secure environment for socio-economic activities to thrive across our nations. Thank you, sir.
You will take my one or two questions. Distinguished Senator Monguno, he has made various allusions to his experience in the Northeast as a son of Borno State, most affected. Would you like to, not necessarily ask the question, would you like to suggest something to him as he goes into this new office?
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished senators. My name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the officer is very well known to me because he has served as the commanding officer of 243 Battalion Monguno when Boko Haram took over Monguno. As rightly observed by him, even my house was taken over by the Boko Haram insurgents, and they were instrumental to repelling or removing Boko Haram from Monguno and reclaiming back the territorial integrity of Nigeria. I can attest to that. My father also crossed with him when he's serving variously as GOC 7 Division, Sector 1 Commander Operation Hadinkai, Theater Commander Joint Task Force, all in Borno State and the Northeast in general. So his appointment is a square peg in square hole, having traversed the nooks and crannies of not only the theater of operation in the Northeast, but in the whole country. So my question to him is, what immediate action do you intend to take in addressing acts of terrorism, insurgency, and banditry bedeviling the country, having regard to your experience in the various theater of war? Thank you.
Just before you answer, let me call somebody from the northwest, where bandits have also ravaged the area. He has asked questions in relation to Boko Haram. Let somebody also ask in relation to terrorism and banditry. Distinguished Senator Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I remain Muhammad Adamu Alero, representing Kebbi Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the nominee is a professional soldier to the core. He has attended various courses that has made him qualified to be appointed as Chief of Army Staff. He has been to all the theaters of war. My only question to him, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is that how do you intend to actively address issues of troops' welfare in the army so as to galvanize their will to fight in various theaters of war? And lastly, Mr. President, the northwest part of the country is facing very serious security challenges. In particular, we have the bandits and also the Lakurawa that came from Mali. They move freely and brazenly with their AK-47 rifle. They even mixed with the communities. It's a pleasure, distinguished colleagues. Nigerians will be interested to hear from the Chief of Army Staff designate how he intends to solve this issue of Lakunawa challenge. Thank you.
Yes. Chief, let me just add just one more question so that you can answer the three at once. If you notice what the Chief of Defense Staff designate said, bearing in mind the financial constraints and the logistics constraints. So we are now, the questions that are being asked will be that all things being equal, assuming this, the things that Dan Kwambo, you can adjust the question so that he can answer.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Senator Ibrahim Dangombo. I represent Gombe North. Your Excellency, like you have rightly noted, this officer, well-trained, well-fitted, you see him, typical how a soldier should be looking like in Nigeria. is somebody too I have privilege of having interacted with as a former governor of Gombe State. And him and his team have worked very hard, because one thing is terrorism or Boko Haram or anything, and the other people is the radicalization of those kind of people. So working with them and their team, we set up an institute in Gombe, in Malan City, which de-radicalize this kind of elements. And they go through proper training, proper scrutiny and the rest. And eventually, most of them are de-radicalized. But at the end of the day, the problem is how to take them back to the various communities from where they were coming from. So my question now is, as the new Chief of Army Staff, we have made an effort working with them as a team to make sure that when they are de-radicalized and taught certain kind of profession, that they require a kind of paper or identity, diploma's degree, to push it forward so that they can properly fit into the community where they are coming in. So how does he intend to assist those kind of elements fit in properly? By making sure that that institute, either as an army institute or as an independent agency, is made to achieve that objective. Thank you, Excellency.
Distinguished colleagues, no need to ask too many questions because we are going to have interactive session with them. So this one is that he has just introduced himself and he needs to answer a few questions because Nigerians are watching. And the rest of the very deep questions that I know you have, we will have them in the executive session with them. The day is for them. In the US Congress, sometimes they take 2 days to interview and screen a nominee. So this one we are prepared to take till Sunday to be able to get answers to our security situation. So the whole day is for them. But the same Senator Issa Jibrin, did you say that is your neighbor in Kogi State? Say something. Yes. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, sitting at the chair, very distinguished colleagues, invited guests. I am Issa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. Your Excellency, I rise to first of all thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria for appointing General W. Shaibu as the Chief of Army Staff. The officer is very well known to me. I've known him for over 30 years. He is from a very humble background. He has taken this job as a do-or-die affair in the course of his career. He has been able to attend various professional courses. He has held key positions in the Nigerian Army preparatory to this milestone achievement. I want to believe that is an asset and that given this elevated position, you'll be able to do a lot to take Nigeria out of the security challenges that we are facing today. I only want to urge him to work harmoniously with the Chief of Defense Staff and the other serving chiefs to ensure that the lingering problems of security challenges in Nigeria is addressed once and for all. As for his competence, I can vouch for him anytime, any day, having known him for over 30 years and being the senator representing his senatorial district. On that note, I want to thank you very much for giving me listening attention. Thank you.
So that one was like a testimonial or an attestation. So that is enough for the open session. Distinguished nominee for the office of Chief of Army Staff, you've heard it all. Attempt to proceed answers.
Thank you very much, sir. I will take the questions as they come, starting with the Honorable Senator Mohammed, with borders terrorism and insurgency. Before moving to take that of Honorable Mohammed Aleo, that borders the welfare of troops and the Nakarawa challenge, or any. My apologies, distinguished senators. So I start with that of terrorism and insurgency. The various external threats that cut across the northwest and the northeast lands of operations actually require a multifaceted approach across all domains of operations. I need to consolidate on my predecessors' methods I've been with it throughout our career, especially in the northeast region. For terrorism and insurgency, we intend to leverage on technology to improve our night fighting capability, effective training of special forces, to improve our insertion and strike capabilities across all terrains, both day and night. And intend to dominate all terrains, ranging from mountain ranges, muddy terrains, and urban terrains in across our country, with effectively training additional special forces and special operation forces that we can insert or strike ability. As the distinguished senator knows, most of the attacks in the northeast have been within the wee hours of the morning, between midnight and 03 in the 300 hours in the morning. So we are going to improve our night fighting capability to counter those threats. We will leverage on intelligence to give us the requisite intelligence to deal with this issue, emphasizing synergy with all security agencies to the extent that we have effective multi-domain and multi-agency operations to tackle that threat. And I believe this will go a long way to stem those tides. For truth warfare, the fighting power, the components of fighting power, the moral component is an important aspect, and welfare of troops is a cardinal point in that. I intend to improve
reserve technical
troops to enhance the living and working condition of our troops, increasing financial support and assuring quality access to good health care and education. So those initiatives to improve those welfare will be holistic, that revolves around both housing and infrastructure, financial support, increasing allowances, and ensuring timely payment of their due benefits, and improved health care for all our troops, both wounded and personnel and their families. In the long term, we ensure that we enhance their career development in providing the requisite training to ensure that they embody the special skills of soldiering in all fronts. All this encompasses how we are going to focus on improving troops' welfare. The Lakarawa challenge and the boundary in the northwest, luckily, are going in that Director of Operations to conduct assessment visits within that frame. And I'm fully aware of the lateral challenge. And I assure you that with our improved training and special forces insertions, we are going to deal with that challenge and bring that issue to very close. Now to the distinguished senator, voting on the deradicalization of people. Currently, we have Operation Safe Corridor operating in Gombe, whereby all the modalities are put in place to ensure effective deradicalizations of those surrendered families. I want to provide for them a skill acquisition to make them viable as skilled members of the society. Now, we integrated them into their various communities that is not within our home. Properly deradicalized, you have to work with various communities, the community leaders within that general area to see how they can integrate them into their various communities. So we require the whole of society approach, and we will be counting on the distinguished senator from that general area to help in convincing the people, whereby these people have committed atrocities against, to accept them as their brothers, want to bring them to their various communities. Now to the last question from the Senate President, that bearing in mind the financial and logistic constraints, how we proceed with what we do. This will further on effective management of resources to ensure that we get the best out of available resources. The security is not cheap, so we'll still be coming back to the voting chambers, but improve remunerations to the armed forces so that we can together solve the problem of our nation in terms of security challenge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is it the view of the Senate that until we go into a closed session, the executive session, that the nominee for office of Chief of Army Staff has discharged his resume creditably? Those in support that he should be allowed to take a bow and wait for the executive session, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may take a bow, and then we go for further interactions. Rear Admiral I. Abbas, nominee for Chief of Naval Staff, you may step forward. The podium is yours.